What's up, losers? Today I'm back with another descent into the sordid depths of r/nice guys. Taking a look at a couple of depressing or disturbing posts, sharing my responses to them, and trying to prevent the spark of faith in human goodness that still burns within me from being extinguished forever. This is episode 28 in the Nice Guys series. And I have some rather troubling posts lined up for this one. So without further delay, let's get into it.
Hi. May I, a woman respecting and feminist supportive male, see at least one breast from you, my queen. I do not mean to come on as an improper male, and if this request disturbs you, please make me aware. You, my queen, deserve the utmost respect of any female. However, many of my gender seem to sexualize women, and view them as sex toys. However, my queen, I do not share these views. Rather, I value the female spectrum of the human race as the superior. And I, a respectful male, request for the viewing of an isolated, singular breast from your body. I await your response, my queen.
Oh good lord, I think I'm going to throw up. Could this guy be any more icky and pathetic? I have no idea where weirdos like this get the idea that what women are looking for is creepy overblown praise and empty lip service to feminism. But all I can say is, no, this ain't it, bud. I struggle to believe that any woman on the face of the earth is going to read this post and experience anything other than acute revulsion. Yuck yuck yuck. I also have to ask how this guy figures that his request to see this woman's breast is any different to the way that other men sexualize women, which he so righteously condemns. Like using a ton of pretentious language, describing yourself as a respectful male, and calling her a queen, doesn't change the reality that all you really want from her is a picture of her boobs. And if anything, the fact that you're aware of how women are so often reduced to sex objects, and how dehumanizing it can be, only makes your decision to go ahead and engage in the exact same behavior even worse, to the point that I don't even know why I'm bothering to call you out on it. You know what you did wrong, you recognized why it was wrong, and you did it anyway. The actions speak for themselves. As a final note, I already alluded to this, but how damn pretentious is this guy's way of speaking? Like an isolated, singular breast, the female spectrum of the human race. I swear this dude must think he's writing a college assignment and trying to make up the word count or some sheet, because otherwise, I see absolutely no reason to use so many unnecessary words. It isn't making him sound sophisticated, that's for sure. Sighs, what an embarrassing display.
Am I the asshole for saying my friend's lesbianism is just directed at me? I realize as I write this, I am probably the asshole. But the emotions are extremely raw. And I'm still mad and frustrated. So bear with me. I'm 40s male, am best friends with a woman, 30s female, and have been so for the last 5 years. Truthfully, I'm in love with her, and have told her so. I've been rejected repeatedly, which she says is because she's a lesbian. She's admitted that she's dated men in the past, between the ages of 18 to 20. But it wasn't for her. And she's squeeness repulsed, so could never sleep with them, which ultimately led to the breakdown of their relationships. She's dated a few women, all of whom I've hated, because they're not as perfect as I feel I would be. I keep trying to convince her to at least try and date me. We work well together, have the same interests, work in the same field, same hours, etc. We like the same stuff, and have even actively started looking into things she's into. But it isn't working. She's keeping me in the friend zone, and won't even try me. It's depressing. She's perfect in my eyes. She's so smart, funny, beautiful. I tell her so every day. But she's shutting down my advances. And even, lately, has been stopping conversations with me, and dodging my questions. Well, it all came to a head last night. She told me she was dating someone. And so I instantly tried to find out as much about them as I could. I found out that they are trans female to male. They go by they/he pronouns. On the outside, they still look reasonably like a woman. I'm furious. How can she date someone who is a man? But not me, who was at least born a man. I asked her, and she said that she's still queer. I called her out on it, and said she only seems to be queer when talking about what could be us. She told me it wasn't up to me to decide who she can and cannot date. So I asked what will happen in the event her date gets bottom surgery, and has a squeeness. She called me disgusting, and said her partner's genitals were not up for discussion. I reminded her how squeeness repulsed she is. Now she won't even talk to me. She hasn't blocked me, but she's stopped replying to any of my messages. I'm hurt. It's not fair. Why aren't I her type? Why will she date this man and not me? How can I convince her I'm the better choice? Was I the asshole for pointing out the double standard?
Wow, so this guy is in his 40s, huh? That's interesting. You'd think that having been around for that long, he'd have had plenty of time to learn the basics of how relationships and consent work. But apparently not. It's genuinely bizarre to me how this guy goes through his whole thought process. For why he thinks that his supposed friend is not living up to her own standards of lesbianism. Without considering for a moment just how misplaced, irrelevant, and straight up pointless his contributions in this regard actually are. Like, for frick's sake, dude. It doesn't matter whether she's got a double standard or not, it's up to her who she wants to go out with. And that's not you, even if you were completely correct in calling her a hypocrite, simply for following her own desires. That still wouldn't make her like you. And it wouldn't force her to give you a chance. So going to such lengths to expose her is nothing more than a sad waste of time. Furthermore, where does this guy get off on involving himself in shit? That is absolutely none of his business. His general nosiness towards his friend's sexuality and preferences, when she's already repeatedly rejected him, is bad enough, but his interrogation about the possibility of her boyfriend getting bottom surgery, and how that would make her feel, is just staggeringly inappropriate. Like, other people's genitals are none of your damn business. And it's certainly not your place to ask a bunch of invasive questions about them. I would have thought that most of us had figured that out by the age of 7. But here we have a 40-something-year-old man, basically sticking his nose in other people's crotches, and not seeing anything wrong with that whatsoever. Wild. As hesitant as I would usually be to jettison a long-standing friendship, I can't help but conclude that OP's friend would be better off distancing herself from him, in light of his troubling actions and failure to respect boundaries. If he's already confessed his love to her multiple times, been rejected, and refused to let it go, taken it upon himself to scout her romantic partners obsessively, and refused to respect her relationships, OP is clearly bad news. And it's hard for me to imagine him learning the error of his ways and doing better when he's already in his 40s and apparently has precisely zero capacity for self-reflection. So yeah, I would definitely cut him off. No friend is worth this much trouble. Moving on.
Hey, you probably don't remember me, but I've been watching you for a long time. My name is Redacted, and I have been a sub at your junior high school teacher. From 8th grade. At. Redacted. I would always see you in the hallways and stare, haha. I no longer work there. For reasons. But I see you're of legal age now. Finally. And we should totally meet up for coffee. I make $4,200 a month. So I can help you with college funds. I am super chill to talk and catch up. My friends say I have a great sense of humor. Not gonna lie, you're very cute, and I would like to bang. But let's not discuss that right now. Let's just chill, and have a normal conversation. Let the wind blow, and see where things go.
Jesus fricking Christ. Why is this guy not in prison already? Like seriously. He's not even trying to hide how much of a predator he is. He's outright flaunting it. Unbelievable. I'm honestly struggling to put together a response to this one. Because the guy's behavior is just so despicable. And the fact that there are people like this walking around in society. And even working with children. Sends a shiver down my spine. But all of that is pretty self-evident. And I'm sure that you all feel the same way. So there's not much to be gained from me hammering the point home over and over again. I guess the more surprising aspect is just how brazen he is. I mean, if I were the kind of guy to perv on 8th graders, I'd have to think that I'd be deeply ashamed, and keep that sheet buried down deep. But this guy doesn't have a care in the world. He's perfectly happy to broadcast his sick thoughts to the world, and it doesn't seem to register with him at all. How terrible all of this makes him look. Like the fact that the dude actually thinks that this woman is going to want to have anything to do with him whatsoever, really speaks to his utter delusion and lack of understanding around what qualifies as remotely socially or morally acceptable. It's mind-boggling. If nothing else, I'm glad that he's been removed from his position at the school he was working at. And it's not hard to imagine why this might have happened. But I still find it deeply disturbing that he is free to do whatever his twisted little mind compels him to. And I don't know what I can even say. To close things out on a lighter note, be on guard against predators like this. And look out for your kids. That's all I've got. Sighs. Why are people like this? Man. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you had a good time reading through these posts with me. Disgusting though they may have been. And that my commentary provided some value. What do you think? Does being a woman respecting and feminist supportive male entitle you to see a woman's breasts? Is it reasonable for a man to be upset at his lesbian friend for not making an exception for him? I've been creeping on you since you were in the 8th grade. A good opening line. Let me know in the comments. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, or I'll have the guy from the third post transferred to your workplace. Just kidding, haha. Anyway, catch you later.